Patrick Cook here. Hey, thanks for coming back. Um, this is what, session 111. We're at a point where we have an animation through a Mandelbulb 3D scene. We have defined 10 keyframes that have given us 1,800 subframes. We went back in and found an area which was a little muddy as a result of the interaction of dynamic fog with shadowing, and we managed to improve that. And then we got to a point where we said, look, that's good enough. And then we applied that modification across all of the keyframes using the processing's window. We are in a position now where we can move forward and do some more animations and animation moves or animation events. And I think we can feel confident that we've got a nice environment to move through. We've got a good foundation to be able to steam forward. And we're going to do that here in just a few minutes, but I wanted to say that it's very interesting because, you know, once you understand your tools for creating, in this case, Mandelbulb 3D animations, once you understand the tools that you have, it gets funner and funner and funner. The better you can use your tools, the more effective you are, the more efficient you are, the less frustrations that you experience, and that seems to translate into wanting to do more and better. And it, you know, I think probably the shortest Mandelbulb 3D animation I've ever made might have been maybe a minute and a half. I go for long animations. I like my Mandelbulb 3D animations to tell a story. And sometimes that story takes 3 minutes, 5 minutes to say. But I'm not afraid of long animations because over time I believe that I have developed an understanding of the software and the ability to utilize it and to not be intimidated by it. And, tips and techniques and tricks like documenting your animation events so that you can kind of keep track of where you are and what you're doing with a kind of a general goal as to what you're trying to accomplish with the animation, what kind of story you're trying to tell. And certainly the ability to modify and fix and understanding basic concepts as to how to revert, how to keep yourself out of a jam. Basically, I find the Mandelbulb 3D software to be very enabling to create very unique graphics and very unique animations that I really don't think any other application can compete with. Now, with that said, I am aware of an application called Mandelbulber, Mandelbulb with an ER at the end. Now, that was a project that an individual took up, and I don't recall his name. I could look it up. You could look it up too. You could read up on it a little bit. But the only point that I want to make is that the Mandelbulber, Mandelbulb 3D graphic generator and animator is a project, and it's still quite viable, is a project that was attempting to continue doing what the Mandelbulb 3D, this application, was attempting to do. And they did make improvements on the whole process. The animation is sort of easier, but sort of not. The learning curve is, in my opinion, a little steeper than Mandelbulb 3D. It undergoes changes, modifications, and it's an open source project. So there is the continual improvement of the application. But there's something very interesting, and I'll speak only for myself, about Mandelbulber versus Mandelbulb 3D. For me, the difference is that I understand the Mandelbulb 3D software application. I already understand it. And I've been working with it since 2000, 2017 was the first animation project I did with it, with Mandelbulb 3D. And I was very, very happy with that. And then I dropped it for a couple of years, and I was messing around with some other fractal generators, and I'd come back to the Mandelbulb 3D. And the point is that I understand the Mandelbulb 3D software. I know its glitches, I know its crash points, I know its idiosyncrasies, I know its tool set. I've learned recovery techniques. I've learned how to optimize it. It's just, I know it better. I know it better. It's like anything else. The tools that you know how to use typically are the tools that get used. For better or for worse, there's always a better tool out there. Always. The thing I like about the Mandelbulb 3D software is that it is old school, therefore it's simplified, with the downside of it doesn't really get any clever fancy features all that often. But it's old school, it's stable, okay, and it's not destabilized. Now listen, I've been in the software development business for 38 years, and I can tell you firsthand that the way to damage a piece of software or software application is to add a feature to it. All right, adding features to software applications destabilize the software application. They inject bugs and problems, and those bugs and problems are not always discovered until the application is deployed out to the public, and then the public gets to find those. I'm actually happy that the Mandelbulb 3D software does not undergo frequent updates, because what they might add as a feature or fix as a bug, they may very well be creating new bugs. And I like tools that I can rely upon, even if they're not perfect tools. You get to understand the imperfection of your tools, and just understanding the imperfection of your tools is what makes the efficiency of using the tools better. The Mandelbulb 3D software is, for me, just a lot of fun, because I understand it well enough to be able to get some value out of it. I feel that I haven't even begun to do the projects that I have in mind. There's not enough time in the day to do this stuff. So it's one of the reasons I'm happy to share what I know about the Mandelbulb 3D with you. All right, because I think you're going to be able to make some incredible animations or stills, and I don't think your animation has to be confined to 10 or 20 seconds, because I think you have the tool set, and I think you're going to have the knowledge and the experience to be able to push the limits and get some really great graphics and animate over them. All right. So I think that we are at a point in this animation tutorial series where we can add some more keyframes and some more movements in our through our scene. And I'm thinking if we kind of look at this scene here, I'm thinking that we just did a right banking turn and we leveled out again. I think what I want to do is I want to fly a little bit more forward, all right? Because you don't want to be constantly banking, all right? You want some variety of movements in there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to fly over this scene a bit more. We might get some altitude. Maybe we'll dive. Maybe altitude will dive, and we'll do a turning dive. Maybe we'll have a good time like that. All right. So why don't we do that? Let's end this session here. Thanks for listening to all of my philosophical ideas here concerning the Mandelbulb3D software. And I'm really am passionate about this software. I really believe it can do some really cool stuff, and I know it well enough where I can push its limits and get some really good results from this, utilizing some other tools to assist along the way. Okay? All right, so when we come back, the next session, we gotta get a fresh a cup of coffee or tea. All right, when we come back, we're gonna do some more animation events through this scene. I'll see you there.